This is your bailiwick. Where do you see things right now?
I'm very clear-eyed, Chris, as hopeful as I was in the wake of that powerful Jane Mayer article and the revelation of the whistleblower report. I have to say that I think that Pete Hegseth is likely to be confirmed. And I am deeply disappointed, but not surprised, given the level of pressure from the Trump White House, from the right-wing ecosystem, the threats of denial of campaign funds and the specter of primaries. This pressure campaign has been merciless and relentless. And I give a lot of credit to Senators Murkowski and Collins for standing up and making the powerful statements that they did, because what's on the public record already is disqualifying. It would be disqualifying for Pete Hegseth to be promoted from colonel to general or corporal to sergeant within the military, marital infidelity and alcohol abuse, financial mismanagement. And so I think that this nomination is likely to go forward.
Are you, you say you're not surprised. I know there's been a lot of pressure. I have to say, this is one of the most manifestly unqualified nominees I've ever covered for a position that seems quite important and that Republicans will tell you is very important. And I am genuinely pretty shocked they are willing to put the nation's safety and security in the hands of someone who couldn't hack it as a nonprofit with 10 employees.
It is outrageous. At a time of maximum challenge to our country around the world, we've chosen or are about to choose someone with the most minimal qualifications. In fact, he is as unqualified and unprepared as any candidate for consequential office that I have seen in my time in the United States Senate, maybe in our recent history. And you're absolutely right that he is going to command 3.4 million Americans in charge of our national defense. He will have a determinative role in whether to put them in harm's way, decisions of life and death, whether to use nuclear weapons, and whether to disclose intelligence and other issues that are not just consequential, they're crucial to our country's future. But we're going to be watching him. We're going to be holding him accountable if he is confirmed. If he denies opportunities to women or fails to protect them against sexual assault, if he deploys the military to invade people's homes or workplaces in collecting information or doing surveillance, if he purges the military with a false loyalty test, he's going to have to come through us, and we're going to fight. I'm determined to fight as a member of the Armed Services Committee, and we control the purse strings.
Yeah, I mean, your point there is an important one. Like, this is not, whatever happens tonight, it's not the end of the story. There's lots of things that are going to happen afterwards. And, you know, you want to say to yourself, well, what's the worst that can happen if someone really screws up the job as head of the Pentagon? And I think the answer is a lot is the worst that could happen.
More than a lot. It's literally perhaps disastrous for our country. Now, I want to make clear, Chris, you know, I wish him well because his success is essential to America's success.
Well, yeah, I mean, no one's hoping for the worst here. I mean, that's sort of the thing about all this. We're all in the same ship. I think that's why you want a good person at the helm of it, personally.
That's why we want a good person at the helm, and why my Republican colleagues turning a blind eye to a clear record of unpreparedness, lack of competence and character is so deeply shocking.
Let me ask you about this word merit. It's kind of interesting. Donald Trump himself, you know, a legacy case from the time he was wee high, got a lot of daddy's money and daddy's buildings and got a nice little nest egg from daddy. He likes to talk about merit. Pete Hegseth talks about merit, that affirmative action or diversity programs are attacks on merit. You're running Pete Hegseth, you know, it's a blind process, competition. Is this an example of merit? Is this someone who's just got such merit they're rising to the top?
This nomination is an example of dumbing down the Department of Defense, of hiring a chaos agent in the name of a change agent, a complete lack of merit. And professional military men and women devote their lives. They raise their right hand and say they're willing to give their lives for their country. They train just relentlessly to be as adept and skilled as they can be, and they never want a fair fight. They want always superiority, and that includes leadership at the very top. We're not getting it in Pete Hegseth.
Final question quickly. If this were a secret ballot, no one would know how anyone voted. Is he confirmed?
He would not be confirmed. You know, I've talked to a number of my Republican colleagues, and I would be untruthful if I said they're caving or explicitly telling me they're caving because of pressure, but clearly they have such severe doubts and reservations that but for this pressure campaign, he would go down.
Well, hope it doesn't go sideways. Senator Richard Blumenthal, thank you.